From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a major night on evenings LALATE. Economy prepares for that producer price index sister, the CPI, being released tomorrow. Tonight we go into an egg-noggless environment, but not noggless for stimulus. We're going to go over those $300,000 of stimulus checks, fast stimulus, 18 months of stimulus checks that viewers are getting. How many stimulus checks are they getting? They're getting $3,000 of stimulus checks a month, 5 stimulus checks per month over 18 months of stimulus checks. It's huge, and we're going to go over the latest details on these stimulus checks tonight. They're not from your states. They are absolutely incredible. They're not for a particular group, and you need to apply for these incredible stimulus checks. Pounce, Purple Hawks, and do it right away. In tonight's recording, we're going to go over the importance of applying for stimulus checks right away in view of what's happened in 30 days from now. Stimulus checks of $300,000. Those are huge, and they're paying out about 18 months of stimulus checks, about 5 stimulus checks per month, and about $3,000. We're going to go over these incredible stimulus checks in tonight's recording from the shores of Santa Monica, California. New stimulus checks being found on this channel every day. But tonight, the breaking news is the economy is really softening up, and that is why the Dow Jones ended a very bad week, the worst week since the month of September, down 300 points on Friday, and it could potentially get even worse this week. Why? Because the producer price index was released on Friday. That gauges inflation. The PPI was not good. That signals why Jay Powell maybe have to tame this inflation for 2 more years, exactly as I had predicted. The comments tonight, brand new from the head of Bank America. Santa Cuff baby and Santa baby, CPI, yes. The CPI is likely not to be a baby. It's likely to be a monster as inflation is likely to go higher. And cuff it up tonight as new predictions of confidence are confusing. But the downward spiral of this economy is manifesting itself in Lululemon, and it's indication for the markets. And tonight's recording will go over the importance of understanding where this economy is and where it's going. Getting big stimulus checks as quickly as you can. I'm going to show you how to get these huge stimulus checks over this broadcast tonight from the shores of Santa Monica, California. So much going on tonight. We're going to cover your benefit raise, your big stimulus, and everything in between. It's a big show tonight from the shores of California. The breaking news all starts right here, right now, on a big, bold evening of your favorite show in prime time. It's a big night tonight of Evenings LALATE for a gorgeous night here in Santa Monica, California. Good evening, everybody. What a big week it's going to be. When Monday hits, we're going to have the Consumer Price Index number released for the month of November. On Wednesday, the breaking news from the Federal Reserve, they announced their FOMC results, and all this lines up with you getting stimulus. You need to get those incredible stimulus checks right tonight. And how much stimulus? It's everywhere for SSI and SSDI. Over this 1-hour broadcast, I'm going to go over these incredible stimulus checks with you. $300,000 of stimulus checks. You qualify. And we're going to go over one at a time each of these incredible stimulus checks that are paid 18 months of stimulus checks right now. 5 stimulus checks per month and about $3,000 across the board. It's important to get these stimulus checks. They're not from the states. They're from the federal government. You need to pounce to get these incredible checks as quickly as possible. They're not from any particular group. You pounce across this recording. In this recording, I'm going to show you each of these incredible $300,000 of stimulus checks passed in March, paying out fast in less than 2 days, 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, 5 stimulus checks per month. But first, let's go into the breaking news starting right now, which is an egg-noggless environment. The markets were not particularly happy with the producer price index number released on Friday, and that is why the markets tumbled down 300 points on Friday. And the worst week for the Dow Jones since September. The Dow was down nearly 1% for the day alone. it was down 3% for the entire week. The NASDAQ was down nearly 4% for the entire week, and it's all because of the PPI. PPI, PPU. Does the PPI have anything to do with you? Absolutely has something to do with you, and that is the second major story hitting tonight. The Producer Price Index, which gauges inflation at the wholesale level, like the grocery store, was released on Friday. It's always released every month, and it's released right in conjunction with the CPI, which is your inflation, the Consumer Price Index. One goes up, the other one always goes up. So where did it go? It went up month to month and went up year to date. The PPI went up higher. Inflation was higher. Not a surprise for you and I, but clearly was a surprise for Wall Street. Not particularly clear why they're always surprised when we all say inflation's still going up. And that is why the Dow Jones plummeted 300 points on the news. Let's look and see what that PPI said in that data. Again, this is what the wholesaler is paying for the goods. It showed that it went up month to month, 0.3% compared to the prior month, 7.4% compared to the prior year. Now, that's a lot higher than what Wall Street expected. They were expecting only a monthly rise of 0.2%. It came in at 0.3%. Then, when you look at the core PPI, which excludes food and energy, it came in at 0.4% compared to 0.2%. So that was much, much hotter. And then when you look at the core PPI, it was expected to come in relatively robust. It came in really strong and at 6.2% year to date. 6% inflation, folks, that's really too hot. In spring of last year, 2021, I said that what Jay Powell was saying to you for inflation was wrong. Jay Powell was trying to tell you in spring of 2021 that inflation was going to come in at 2 or 3% in December of 2021 and be temporary or transitory. He said at the time was this fancy word with that strange hand gesture, up and down. I said wrong. It's going to come in at 8% in December of 2021 and not go away quickly. Tonight, we are almost at the end of December of 2022, a year later, and inflation is still tracking at about 7%. It hasn't gone down much at all. And they went down to 2%. And that is why it leads us into the third major story we're working on tonight, which is, of course, taming Jay Powell will have a longer road to get this inflation down than he even wanted. And the comments came in from Brian Moynihan, head of Bank of America, CEO. He's the guy that gave us the important data a few weeks ago about credit card debt spending. He says our expectations that inflation is going to be still not under control until the end of 2023 and potentially into 2024. That is exactly what I have been recording on this channel for a year. I said that inflation is not going to come down until 2024. Moynihan is confirming it. It's going to take a little bit longer than people like. It's still not clear. It's not going to clear up overnight. That leads us into the big news for Monday, the CPI. But first, let's get some incredible stimulus checks by understanding where these stimulus checks came from. We bring it back to February of 2022, this year. At the time, I was the only American financial broadcaster to record that the U.S. economy would go into recession. My prediction February this year was looked on negatively by everyone else, saying he's crazy. Clearly, we now are going into recession. Then I also said that the recession would start in 2023 and continue to 2024. My viewers, you immediately heard that warning signal in February this year, and by March, you said, "You've taught us to always err on cautious, be cautious with our money. If you are right, then give me some darn stimulus checks right away." And I did, and we got lucky, because when you said that to me in March, that same day, Joseph Biden passed a series of executive actions, which established the first 3 stimulus checks A, B, and C, which we'll be going over in just a second. And that started the ball rolling. And viewers got them. Then that night, I recorded them that night. We're going to go over each of these checks one at a time in just a second. At the time when you said, find me some stimulus checks in March, I had a triple mandate for this channel. Number one, I wanted you to have big stimulus checks because you're going to be enduring a 2-year recession. A recession starts in 2023 and does not end until the end of 2024, was my recording in February this year. It's apparently a correct recording because now that's what analysts are all saying left and right. Let's understand, you need tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks for a 2-year recession. Because of a lockdown in 2020, you needed 6 months of stimulus checks. This is a lot more than 6 months of stimulus checks. This is 2 years. You need tens of thousands of dollars. And we got it. In this recording, I'm going to see how viewers are averaging about $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 of stimulus checks, but a lot are getting over $200,000 of stimulus checks from this channel by becoming a member. Mandate number 2. I want to make sure you qualify, and you do. Single individual, $75,000 or less annual income, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 or less annual income, go get them. And that's it. It's only 2 qualifiers. $75,000 or less, single person, $150,000 less, married couple. That is it. You otherwise qualify. Doesn't matter if you rent, if you own. Doesn't matter if you're young or you're old. Doesn't matter if you're behind on bills or not behind on bills. Doesn't matter if you're in red state or blue state. Doesn't matter if you like my beautiful pink poinsettia plant on today's afternoon show or you like the white one. You qualify. They're all incredible stimulus checks. And we're going to go over all these incredible checks across the board in this recording. Mandate number 3. Deliver to you in a simple, easy way for you to go get it. And that was the birth of the LALATE newsletter. The LA newsletter is delivered from me to you Monday through Friday. Watch your time zone. 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, my time, which is West Coast. 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time if you're in New York and New Jersey. And if you're in the Middle West, like Missouri or Illinois, it's 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. You go down that incredible newsletter, apply for check, and we're going to go over all these incredible checks in just a second. But let's go back into the breaking news, because this week coming in is a very, very big week, perhaps the most fundamentally important week of the entire year. Santa baby CPI? No, I do not believe Monday's CPI will be a baby. I believe it'll be a Santa monster. I believe that inflationary data will go up month to month and year to date up as well. You predict that as well. But Wall Street's reaction to a higher inflationary number in Monday's CPI is what you and I just don't know. We know the CPI is going to be higher for inflation on Monday, but you and I don't know how crazy Wall Street's going to react to the news on something we already know what the news is going to be. And that leads us into our next story. Cuff it tonight. Beyonce would be proud. Cuff it tonight. A brand new report out of the University of Michigan shows consumer confidence is way up. Excuse me? Consumer confidence about the economy is way up? No. Confidence about getting their TikTok dance moves down to Beyonce are way up. This doesn't make any sense. But let's just take it as face value. If they are very confident in their position in this U.S. economy, well, and they're middle class or low income households, well, guess what? Financial cliff is right in front of them, and they're about to fall over it. They've not prepared accordingly. They think it's all great news, and that leads us into our last major story we're working on tonight, which, of course, is downward dog. One of the most important factors we're going to watch this month after the CPI and also Jay Powell is the guidance from corporations about the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter is not looking good for this year for corporate earnings. And we don't get the reporting until early next year, but we're starting to get some guidance. We have Morgan Stanley that says that the transactional revenue was horrible in November. Horrible for Black Friday. In fact, it was lower than the prior month. We also have brand new indication from Lululemon, downward dog. Yes, the apparel yoga company says it's going to be a very tough December to get the consumers in the store and spend. And remember what that means. If the corporations do not deliver their earnings, they lay people off. If they lay people off, then they go on unemployment. And where is that unemployment tonight? Let's look at those unemployment numbers that were released just less than about 2 days ago. They were not good when you look at the long-term unemployment. There's 2 unemployment numbers released every week on the channel on Thursday morning on Mornings LA. And the first one, we're not worried about. That one was relatively flat. That was a 230, 240. We're fine with that, so long as it doesn't go back up to 260. This is what happened over the summer. Remember, we went all the way to 260. You don't want that. We're at 230, 240. That's fine. The other part of the number that was horrible was the long-term unemployment claims, surging to 1.7 million. Clearly up 65,000 just 1 week. Not good. because Jay Powell's made it very clear to get inflation down, he's going to cause more people to become unemployed. That's how he says he's going to do it. So are we going to go to 1.7? We're going to go to 2 million long-term unemployed people? Yeah, you're going up a lot. And that is why you're at the fact that we're at 1.7 right now, practically 1.6 plus. Before the bad news comes in for corporate America, you got to get these stimulus checks. So let's go over what the concept is of a federal stimulus check versus a state stimulus check. The federal government has a lot of money. They've always had it. And that's why we're focusing on federal stimulus checks. If you want tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus checks, you go to federal stimulus checks. States have literally no money. They're practically on the cusp of bankruptcy every 10 seconds. So states don't have a lot of money for you. That's why I don't focus on state stimulus. I never have, because they have diddly squat for you across the board. It's the federal government has big money. It's going to be a 2-year recession into 2024. And the last time we saw big stimulus, it was for 6 months of a lockdown. Now we're in a 2-year recession. You need tens of thousands of dollars of stimulus. And that is why I focus on these big federal stimulus checks. And let's go over those incredible big federal stimulus checks right now by understanding where they came from and how they happened. They started in the month of March with those executive actions of Joseph Biden, which I just went over just a second ago. Let's understand how that happened and how you can get that money tonight as well. It's a lot of money. I'm going to go over those first 3 checks of those FSCs starting right now. Joseph Biden passed them by executive action. These FSCs, $100,000. You qualify. These incredible first 3 checks of FSCs are checks A, B, and C. Passed by executive action of Joseph Biden in the month of March. They're absolutely wonderful. You go get them. And I'm going to show you how to get them over this incredible recording. Those are the first 3 checks: stimulus checks A, stimulus check B, and stimulus check C. Become a member, go right in this video, join the channel, and get these incredible checks across the board. Then came Congress, and they established other checks. Those stimulus checks from Congress are stimulus checks E through K. And then I found you more of these incredible checks, bringing us hundreds of them. They're all in the LA newsletter. Delivered from me to you, watch the time zone, Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific, my time, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, via the YouTube alert. You get the YouTube alert at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 10 o'clock Eastern. You go down in the alert, past the guy with the surfboard, there he is, to where it says click and view post, and you click the link and you go right and apply. You apply for all these incredible checks one at a time. I'm going to show you each of these incredible checks one at a time in tonight's recording. Become a member, get these incredible checks right tonight. And without a delay, let's go right into these incredible stimulus checks. Remember, it's $300,000 of stimulus checks. They're everywhere. You qualify. They're big sums of money because they're from the federal government. They've been lost since the month of March. And without a delay, let's go into each of these incredible stimulus checks one at a time, starting with the great check A for you tonight. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000, let's go get it. Married couple, $150,000, let's go get them as well. And those incredible stimulus checks are huge. Do you want a $12,000 stimulus check? Well, go get it. How do you get it? You become a member, go right in this video, join the channel, and go down to where it says check A in the newsletter and apply for that incredible check. Spella got it. Also, Kimberly got it. Countless viewers have gotten this incredible check A. $12,000. It's huge, but we're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is $15,000 to $80,000. It's a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state, and this is the check that's helping people get 18 months of stimulus checks. A lot of viewers from check B are getting 18 months of their rent or mortgage, plus their 4 or 5 utilities per month. That's bringing them 80 to 100 stimulus checks and $80,000 to $100,000 of stimulus money. $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 of stimulus is happening all the time on this channel. You go under the video, become a member, then go down that membership newsletter to see check B, click the link, and go right in and apply. You're not done there yet. You're going to go get check C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. These incredible check C's have been on this channel for a long time. Do you want assistance for utilities, for your mortgage, for your rent, for similar items? Well, go get those incredible check Cs, and let's look at some of the success stories that viewers have had with these incredible check Cs on this channel for nearly 2 years. Do you want $30,000 of rent? Well, go get Check C. Become a member, get that newsletter, and go down and apply for Check C. At Check C, I tell you who to call, what to say, and how to say it. 12 different places, so make sure you reach out to all 12 places, because you'll get a no, but you'll also get a yes. Remember, Johnny had a 50% rejection rate, but he also had $80,000 because he listened very carefully. Go become a member and get those incredible check Cs for rent. Utilities. There you go. There's Mark, $6,500, his brother-in-law, $15,000 of utilities. Lynn Glenn has gotten 14 months of utilities, and her success story comes up in just a second. Go into this video, join the channel, become a member, and get those incredible utilities, stimulus checks. And then Snap, Mark's brother-in-law, is getting $250,000 over 10 years for that Snap. Let's go to combinations of stimulus checks. Marcos at $32,000 of stimulus checks combos. Then I told him to go get more. He did. Brought himself to $50,000 of stimulus checks. Then he went to $100,000 of stimulus checks, and then $166,000 of stimulus checks. And here's Lorraine. She was at $105,000 of stimulus checks. She went to $150,000 of stimulus checks. You do it as well. Dragon, triple member to all three channels, is sitting on $170,000 of stimulus checks. Johnny has gotten 20 friends and neighbors $250,000 of stimulus checks. And on a regular basis, viewers become a member of this channel and get 18 months of stimulus checks in just the first 30 days. Go right on this video, become a member, Purple Hawk, Purple Power Casino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter and apply for those huge stimulus checks. But those are just the first three categories of stimulus checks, A, B, and C. We'll be turning back to the continuation of these stimulus checks later in this second half. But let's go back into the other major stories we're working on today, which is that CPI on Monday, that Federal Reserve announcement on Tuesday, and then that indication of more guidance downward from corporate earnings all this week. It's a lot to digest, and let's digest it right now. Currently, the data we can all understand and agree upon, the data looking at the moment, is the following. Inflation still going up month to month, still going up year to year. We had that in the Personal Consumption Expenditure Index released 2 weeks ago. We had that in the PPI released this last Friday. And we'll have in the CPI released this Monday. But the reaction from Wall Street is baffling because every time the data comes out and it's higher inflation, they're surprised by it. Why? Nothing in this inflation shows that it's peaked. Nothing in this inflation shows that inflation's gone away. Now, it may have softened up a little bit, but it's not gone away. Number two, the labor number should not surprise anyone because Jay Powell says he wants to get unemployment higher. Yeah, you heard me right. Unemployment higher. So the fact that the unemployment claims, long-term unemployment claims, has surged to 1.6 should not surprise anyone. It's going to go to 1.7 or 1.8. But what is sort of surprising is that corporate America tonight, corporate America is really hard to gauge until they tell you. And not every corporation is going to endure the recession the same way. The breaking news tonight is the following. Morgan Stanley says that the holiday Black Friday revenues were horrible. They say in the month of November, the retailers did not deliver good revenues. They had busy people in the stores, but they were not buying. So their revenues for the month of November were actually lower than the month of October, Halloween. Not good. And what does that lead us up into? December. And Lululemon, the apparel retailer for yoga, says December is a very weak month currently. Many retailers are saying December is not looking good. Now, if you haven't bought your holiday Christmas gifts yet, this may look good for you because you're expecting big discounts, and they're going to do it because they're not getting people to buy, especially in December. So there could be massive discounts. But let's go back into the economic news of this. We will not see the fourth quarter corporate earnings until January of 2023, next month. But we'll see the guidance coming in sporadically on this channel, where companies say it's very weak at the moment. We don't see a lot of traffic. We don't see a lot of buying. Now, this may seem a little bit confusing to you and I because the head of Bank of America, The head of American Express, no less than 2 months ago, said that the credit card spending is the worst they've ever seen of a generation. So what are they spending money on? If they're not spending money on retail, apparel, they may be just spending on travel and leisure. The data denies the following: that the spending is out of control, but not in retail stores. It's on travel, which is hotels and airlines, travel and leisure. That spending is debt based upon credit card debt, not based upon cash in the bank. Why do we know that? Because of two reports. One, head of JP Morgan Chase, Jamie Dimon, beloved banker and a longtime CEO, says that American savings accounts will be gone by early next year. The head of KPMG disagrees and says, no, that's middle-class savings accounts. Low-income household savings accounts are already gone. Low-income households, their savings accounts are already gone. Savings accounts gone or about to be gone, number one. People spending money for credit card debt out of control and don't have the cash to pay for the credit card debt, that doesn't look good. No, it doesn't look good. It's on the horizon, 30 days out. Number four, corporations saying we have people in the stores looking, but they're not buying. They did not buy in November. They're going to buy less in December. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to lay off people. The current unemployment rates are not good long-term at 1.6, 1.7. It's going to surge even higher when those holiday numbers come in for fourth quarter. They say, we did not deliver. And then finally, cuff it tonight. How did you get Beyonce into the show, LA? Cuff it tonight. A University of Michigan report, and this is the one that just wants to make you roll your eyes like this. The University of Michigan report says that consumer confidence is the highest it's been in several months. For the economy? What are they confident about? They're confident their casserole is going to come out good for a Christmas dinner? There's nothing to be confident about in this economy. But let's just take it on face value that people are really confident. They're confident when their savings account is gone, when they maybe be laid off, when their credit card debt is out of control. They're really confident. Good, be confident, because you're going to lose your shirt if you're not getting stimulus. And that is why you need to get stimulus. In the big second half, we're going to continue with these stimulus checks. And imagine all those people that are confident that are not doing stimulus checks, that are not getting any stimulus checks. They're sitting back and saying, I'm really confident with all my credit card debt and my absence of savings accounts and my job that may not be there, but I'm really confident. Good. Get some stimulus. The big second half, we're going to go over the continuation of these big stimulus checks. Plus, I'll have my analysis of this economy, and you and I will sit back and predict what we're going to see on Monday and Tuesday on this channel with that CPI, and also with the major announcement from J. Powell Company. We're going to have a lot of fun the big second half. Get your pens and papers ready. Get your fingers loosened up, because I want you in that live chat. I have a lot of questions to ask you. It's coming up in the big second half, as tonight's big show from the shores of Santa Monica, California continues on evenings. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues. in a big, bold, beautiful second half from the shores of Santa Monica, California. Big stimulus checks are available to Americans since the month of March, and you qualify. $300,000 of stimulus checks, 300 different stimulus checks, of which we're going to continue going over in this big second half. 18 months of stimulus checks on average, 5 stimulus checks per month on average, and $3,000 of stimulus checks on average for you. They are everywhere in this recording and across the United States. Remember, these are not from the states, they're from the federal government. You must apply. You need to move fast. I'm going to go over all these incredible checks one at a time in this big second half starting right now. Remember, these checks are absolutely incredible. You want to move really quickly and getting these big, bold, beautiful checks. They're absolutely for you. You deserve these huge checks. And what's important to remember when looking at these huge checks is that they're here now, but you don't know how long they're going to be around. And with that, let's continue with these big, bold, beautiful second half stimulus checks. These are now checks E through K. These checks E through K were passed by Congress as of the first 3 checks from Joseph Biden, and they're absolutely wonderful. Check E is a beautiful $7,500 stimulus check. Wow, I love it. Check F is a beautiful $4,000 stimulus check. Just incredible. You know, all these incredible stimulus checks, E through K, are all together in the membership newsletter. They're all together. You just go down and get those incredible checks one at a time. Then we go to check G. Check G, stimulus check, is beautiful. It's 20% off. Then check H is a beautiful $2,000 stimulus check. Love it. Then check I, $8,000 stimulus check. Check J, $8,000 stimulus check. Love it. Then check K, $14,000 stimulus check. Love it. Those are your congressional E through K stimulus checks, all in the membership newsletter down at checks E through K. Then I found you checks L and M. $100,000 on average on loan interest-free money is L. M is $4,000 of stimulus checks. Then N. Do you want a brand new tablet, computer, laptop for the holidays? Then go get stimulus N. That's what it is. Brand new computer, tablet, laptop, and free internet. Love it to death. Then stimulus O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs for a brand new mortgage, and stimulus P and Q, 3% down for a refi, and then $8,000 for that beautiful Q stimulus. Let's go over a little bit more about these stimulus checks. They're federal because they're from the federal government. So they're for Americans. They're not for any particular state. They're for Americans, federal stimulus checks. They're big. Viewers are averaging $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for these incredible stimulus checks. What are they for? We have stimulus checks for the rent, the utilities, the mortgage, the car, the internet, the computer, the home repairs, the home appliances. We have stimulus checks for a lot of things. Largest stimulus check, $100,000. Smallest stimulus check, $8,000. Fastest routing time on a stimulus check, 2 days. Johnny started on Monday. By Wednesday, he had $45,000 of stimulus checks. By the end of the week, he had 15 applications in for stimulus checks, half rejected and half approved, $80,000 of stimulus checks in his hands. He helped his mom and dad each get $50,000 of stimulus checks. Then, what happened after that? He helped his 20 friends and neighbors get $250,000 of stimulus checks. These stimulus checks are from the federal government, and so they've been around ever since the month of March. But you and I don't know how long the funds will be available, so get the stimulus checks right today. Pounds as a Purple Hawk as quickly as you can. You go under the video, you subscribe to LA1, subscribe to LA2, and subscribe to LA3. Then there's a bell on all 3 channels, LA1, 2, and 3. Hit that bell so all notifications set to all on. And then become a member to any one of those 3 channels, LA1, LA2, or LA3. Go down that membership newsletter, you see check A, click the link and apply. Check B, click the link and apply. It's that straightforward. You're watching LALATE, America's #1 most watched financial news channel for this subject matter. In America, I've gotten viewers $15 million on this stimulus since it started in spring of 2020. My predictions on the recession, correct. My predictions on inflation, correct. And your predictions have been really correct. So with those, get ready, because here's my first question. I'll be going over your answer in just a second. Do you believe anything in a component part of Monday's CPI for inflation will show that inflation was down? Do you think that any component part will show it's down? I'll go over your answers in just a second, but let's continue with the breaking news. In addition to these incredible federal stimulus checks, there is inflation relief stimulus checks. They're ISCs, I for the icing, because they're about $1,000, but with a 2-year recession, $1,000 ain't going to cut it, but they're nice. They're down the membership newsletter, check D. Then we have a lifetime stimulus. Once your benefits go up, they never go down. You already got a 5.9% raise for this year. That's what your current check is. But come January, your new check will have 8.7% raise on top of that. Then, in January 2024, you'll have another raise on top of that. In 2025, you'll have another raise on top of that. Why? As Brian Moynihan confirms in my reporting, you're going to have inflation for 2 more years. As your benefits go up, they never go down. But what will happen by 2025? Cheapest cost of living of a generation. All your goods that you're buying will be the cheapest of the last generation in 2025, when your check is the largest at the same time. And that's how we rock and roll. And congratulations to all the viewers who have listened and learned and done so well with these incredible stimulus checks in recent days. You do as well. Go under the video, become a member. And with that, let's go back into that inflationary prediction from Monday. So on Monday, the Consumer Price Index number is released. What is my prediction? What is your prediction? Will the monthly CPI on a monthly basis go up? My answer, yes. What is your answer? Write in the live chat. On an annual basis, do you believe that the CPI will show that on an annual basis the CPI, the inflation went up? My answer, yes. What is your answer? It's likely yes and yes. Why? Because the Producer Price Index released Friday was definitely a big yes. It was up 0.2 and up 7% year to date. All right, so now let's go into the component parts. Are any of the component parts of inflation likely to have a negative number, meaning that it's not going up, it's actually going down? Well, the last CPI had 3 of them. It had used car sales down, it had medical down, and it had a third component, which passes my mind, that was also down. So 3 items were down last time, but the major items are not expected to be down. First, groceries are not expected to be down. We had a brand new report on Friday that showed fruits and vegetables are up 33% currently, and they're not going down. Number 2, salaries are not going down. Third, rent is not going down. It went up 1% the last CPI report. So what component part of this would actually go down? Now, the gasoline is that third component part that is likely to go down. Gasoline price is the lowest of the entire year now, and they continue to go lower every day on this channel. If you're a member, you see it in the top of the newsletter nightly. That newsletter features the international price of Brent crude, which is hovering now at $83 or $84 a barrel. It was $110 in March. And the AAA national average for gasoline is the lowest it's been this entire year, literally $3.20, $3.22. It had been upwards of $4 or $5 in the month of March. So those are the 3 component parts that are going to go down. Gas, the medical, and the used car sales. But all the other items are going to go up. Travel and leisure is going to go up. The groceries up. The salaries up. The rent up. When you have rent, which is 30% of CPI, and it's still going up, folks, you know the CPI is going to go up, which then leads us into Tuesday. In my heart of heart, and I know I'm saying something that is against the norm, my heart of heart, I think there's a 50-50 chance, a 50% chance that Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve on Tuesday say, you know what? We're not doing 50 basis point. We're doing 75 basis point. I think there is still a chance he does that. I got to tell you, if he does that, the market is going to literally collapse on Tuesday because no one is saying that except me. Why am I saying that? Because inflation's not gone down. If you look at the CPI predictions you and I are discussing right now and compare them to what we were doing a month ago, they're about the same. So the CPI is about the same, the PPI is about the same, the PCE is about the same. Why should Jay Powell go from 75 to 50 basis point? He hasn't gotten inflation down and it hasn't really improved. So what is the potential lesser way of Jay Powell saying this on Tuesday? Potential lesser way of Jay Powell saying this is I'll do 50 basis point now for December, but if I do not see inflation tame itself, I'm going back to 75 in January. Would that shock the markets? it would absolutely shock their socks off. But again, they should be expecting this. Jay Powell, the Federal Reserve, had a mandate to get inflation down quickly, not just get it down slowly. They wanted to come in very aggressively, get it down very fast, and very instantly. It's been a year since they made that comment. It's been a year. So why do you think we should just keep on staying at a 50, 50, 50, 50 when inflation may stay at 6%, 6%, 5% into 2023? Yeah. So that is part of the equation. We do not have that risk embedded in the markets. What is risk embedded in the markets? If the markets, the stock market, the labor market, the corporate America have not assessed a potential bad event from happening, have not assessed the risk of a bad event happening, and then it happens, that's no bueno. So what is the bad event? That Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve at some point go back up to 75 basis points, or that they do not go to 50 basis point on Tuesday. That's the non-event that they did not assess as a risk. Are there other non-events out there that they have not assessed as a risk? Yes. They have not assessed the risk, in my opinion, the financial markets, of November's retail numbers being bad. I think they all think that everyone bought in November when the Morgan Stanley data shows that they did not. And if the data that comes in, which may not come in as late as January, mid-January, when the fourth quarter corporate earnings come in, yeah, that's a really bad month to have bad data. Now, if you watch the shows over this channel over the last few days, you remember the significance of December 14th. Let's go back to that December 14th. I don't think it's in today's notes. I believe it was in... it was in the December 8th notes. December 14th is a critical day for this economy, and let me tell you why. December 14th is lined up as the 10th day of trading for the markets for the month of December. Historically, if you look at historic data, which you and I do a lot on the channel, if you look at historic data, the Santa Claus rally happens on the 10th trading day of December every year. The 10th trading day this year is December 14th. So does that mean the upward trend line, that everything starts looking great starting December 14th? No, because a series of brand new reports say that despite the fact that you always have the Santa Claus rally up in December, even a recession, even a bear market, the problem we're having right now is that the retail numbers are so bad. Goldman said that, I said Morgan. It was Goldman that said the November sales numbers were really bad. They're 0.2% down compared to the month of October. I mean, just 1 month, 0.2% down. They weren't even as good as October. They're actually down 0.2%. And they say that if those numbers continue to line up as predicted, then you're not going to have a Santa Claus rally. If you don't have a Santa Claus rally in December, which we're going to see as early as December 14th, I told you this week is a very big week, then what happens in January? No Santa Claus rally, higher inflation on the CPI on the Monday, Federal Reserve potentially shocking the market with a statement like, we may have to go back up on interest rates. And then new guidance from corporations saying, the economy is getting weaker and we're not seeing a good performance in the month of December for our company. It just all compounds itself all at the same time. There's a lot of very much like time bomb data all happening at the same time. And that time of when it detonates is about late December, early January, but certainly would just explode by mid-January. The data is just really coming in all at the same time, folks. And then the University of Michigan has consumer confidence at the highest level of the year. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. What it means is that there are some people out there that are wearing rose-colored glasses. And I know rose-colored glasses may be attractive for some people, but rose-colored glasses in the economy is not good, because that means that you have your blinkers on and you're ignoring the warning signals. you don't ignore warning signals on this channel. So jump in the live chat right now. Here's some questions for you. Do you believe that the CPI on the monthly basis will go up? Say right up or down in the live chat. Do you believe that CPI on a monthly basis released on Monday will be up or down? My answer, up. Let's go to the next question. Do you believe the CPI on an annual basis will go up or down? Right up or down in the live chat. I say up. Do you believe, I'm going to give you a couple of them together, the rent, the wages, the groceries will all be up in the latest CPI report? I say up. You jump in the live chat and write what you believe, up or down. And finally, do you believe that the used car sales, the gasoline, and the medical will be down? I'm going to say down because it was very down last month, and gas is even more down this month as well. I say down. What do you say? Jump in the live chat across the board. And there you go. That's how you've learned to earn for another night on Evenings LALATE. Thank you for joining me on Evenings LALATE, or if you're watching on Channel 1, LALATE Live, or on Channel 2, Stimulus Live, or on Channel 3, Wall Street Live. The programming continues throughout the night with Evenings LALATE, followed by Countdown at 6 o'clock, Stream Stimulus at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock is extra, 9 o'clock is sunset. The programming continues with a new morning before sunrise at 3 or 3:30, and then early mornings at 4 a.m. before we go into Countdown at 7, and mornings live on air at 9 a.m. before continuing to the afternoon's programming across the board. Get all these incredible stimulus checks. You deserve them. You need them. The economy is softening by the moment. It's a major week we're going to have, and I'm watching with you all this week long. I'll have the breaking details every day. It's looking good for us, but not looking good for the economy. I'll have the latest details on what you need to know. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LALATE for more.